Let's start off with some A/B testing for educational purposes. A, if you voted Donald Trump, you are a lame. B, if you listen to Justin Bieber, you are a lame. There we go, A/B testing. Today I will argue what is an industry plant through the use of three concepts. The first, the second law of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics for 5th graders. You begin the day full of energy, consuming voice lock, crumble cookies, your Arby's, best fast food in the world. You begin to exercise at the gym, or you're just dancing your heart off at a rate. You start sweating, you produce heat, temperatures rising, because energy flows outwards. It will never flow inwards. Just how a flame from a stove, the heat goes outwards. It's not like heat is going into the flame. The energy isn't being destroyed, it is simply flowing out of you, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Concept number 2, plants versus zombies, the field that we play in. On one side, you have the house, symbolic of an empire, a company, a tycoon, a billionaire, whatever label suits your narrative, because again, humans love narrative, but ultimately it is their downfall. On the left, the house with the little dude with the bucket on his hat. This is just the house owner, right? Symbolism of an empire, of a company. In Plants versus Zombies, you start off with the sunflower plants, symbolic of the basis, the root of the wealth of most of these empires or individual entities, which is a field. It's your first row. You want to produce this wealth so that you can buy the plants that attack these zombies. These fields can be symbolic of opioid fields, super profitable. Tobacco fields, even more profitable. I don't know about more, but also super profitable. Or even oil fields, arguably one of the most profitable in the world. Now, with the wealth you extract from the sunflowers, you start to buy plants. The kernel cannon, the walnut, you buy, you sponsor. This is the part of the illusion that words allow us to justify a lot of our action. You could say, well, I'm going to sponsor an individual, but if you were to say, I'm going to buy this individual, the entire narrative could change. So what do these house owners do? They use their wealth that they have established from generations back to say, for example, we lobby for a politician. You're funding them, right? You're funding an artist. You're providing studio time. You're providing connections to other individuals in the industry that could help them go even higher in rank. But along the way, the artist becomes very dependent on your investment in them, on your sponsorship, on the value that you as the entity, the empire, are providing. The plants cannot be planted. They cannot fight off the zombies. They can't take down the zombies without the owner of the sunflowers spending money on them, investing in them. Correct? Correct. For the sake of being concise, let's approach this with the pea shooter. It's where you start. The rich entity starts to sponsor this plant because it does something that benefits the business of the house owner. In the game, when you spend your money on the pea plant, it benefits you because you are able to survive. The pea shooter is feeding bullets to the zombies in the game. It keeps hitting at it till the zombie falls. Now, what is a zombie? The zombie is you. You are a zombie. In the game, the framework is formulated in a way that the zombie has no choice but to walk towards the house, correct? And it just has to take whatever the pea is feeding them. But this isn't the case in real life. You don't have to just feed into what the industry plant is feeding you, the ideas, the message that they're selling you. And they don't even have to be selling it. It could be free. It could be a free message that you're just constantly plugging in. Okay, I'm just gonna hear this message on the regular. When you unconsciously just plug in to eat this message, you're just like the zombie. You're just another NPC. You have no choice but to walk towards straight into the plant, straight into the pea shooter, until eventually it drains you. Because the more you eat this message up, the more you just try to tank the pea shooter without even realizing what you're doing. Because zombies are brain dead, which is what most people are. They're brain dead. They just continue to walk and walk towards the pea shooter as the pea shooter continues to feed them the message, the peas that are literally killing the zombie. Ironically, we think that becoming more proximal to this celebrity, we're gonna achieve something, some type of fulfillment. But the more you spend energy, right? Thermodynamics, the more you're spending energy, you're giving off heat, you're giving off your life force, you're giving up your power to choose, you're giving up your power to make a decision. You're allowing the peas to just be fed to you, to fill you up, right? Fill your mind. That all your mind is filled with is, oh, when's this guy's next performance? I gotta be there. I gotta spend my time working so I could buy the tickets for his next concert or her next concert, correct? Subconsciously, you're thinking, let's see what pieces I can move around, how much energy I have to pour into this either miserable job I have, and it doesn't even have to be a miserable job, but let's see how much I have to pour into this thing I choose to do on a day-to-day basis to become more proximal proximal to the pea shooter, to the celebrity at a concert. I'm just going to be standing in the ocean like the zombies stand in the ocean on the checkerboard in Plants vs. Zombies. I'm going to stand in the ocean like a zombie because I'm going to go to the concert. This isn't the case for everyone. Look around and see how many zombies are in the crowd. How many people are literally zombied out on crazy drugs, right? Let's not pretend like any one of us are perfect, but let's also not pretend like this isn't reality. Over the span of your lifetime, just like the zombie, you drop dead without accomplishing anything. The zombie spends all his energy walking towards the pea shooter, the thing that is literally draining it of its energy. It's the same concept as you spending your energy on the journey of getting more proximal to the celebrity. 10, 20, 30 years from now, you're gonna look back and reminisce or regret on all the time and energy you spent wasted trying to be proximal to something you don't even know why you wanted to be proximal to. You spend money on aligning with their message, but you don't even know what your own message is. You don't even know if it adheres to your morals. You're just taking what you're fed, right? You're on this track, just like the zombie, where you just have to move forward. In reality, you're not actually moving forward, right? You think you are. Another way that you are spending energy is that you spend energy defending the message of said celebrity. Don't get me wrong, there is very talented, gifted individuals with good messages, but it is my belief that these artists, or if not all these artists or famous people, would want you to spend your life trying to pursue them or their message or align with them. They want you to make something out of yourself. They want you to take what they give you and create something new, something better. But in the end, all you're left with are messages you downloaded that were fed to you by the pea shooter, which brings us to the third concept, the profitable message they shoot at you. Number one, drugs. If you were an opioid field owner, wouldn't you want for the person you're sponsoring to push for drugs? Wouldn't you want them to endorse the use of drugs? Wouldn't you want them to low-key be an ambassador of your number one seller? They're just marketing for your business without the zombie, the NPC, knowing that that's what it is. Correct? Correct. The second on the list is romanticizing the past. Looking back to the past and reminiscing isn't completely bad because you could actually learn from it and move forward. The issue is that people are conditioned to simply just reminisce and be stuck up on the past. As Steve Frank would say, to lament in their hurt. If you were a billionaire and constantly paranoid of the competition rising and rivaling your business, wouldn't you just want them to be stuck up on the past and not be present in the here and now, not take action now to actually move forward, to actually do something that is meaningful, that'll leave a mark on generations to come? Is that not profitable? Looping back to the A/B testing, this is another powerful messaging. The A/B testing that I did is to separate people, right? Because if you're the house owner, would it be better if all the zombies came through one lane or they separated them into different lanes, right? This is another major messaging hallmark of an industry plan, to program their audience to either against other fan bases or their own fan base to debate whether, oh no, the old Drake was better, the new Drake is better. Message number 3 is the normalization of sex. Leading marketing strategy, sex sells. On a scientific level, the more something occurs, the more probability there will be of STDs. Isn't it profitable to fill the hospitals with people who made themselves sick from a normal human function and to tell them like, oh, it's, of course, sex is normal. Give them the justification for their actions. Isn't that more profitable than telling people, guys, have sex because I'm running low on funds and I need all you zombies to be dependent on the house for whatever medication you have to take, whatever treatment you need. I need you to depend on me for you to be able to continue to live. It's just like any other drug. The more and more you do it, the more and more tolerance you have to it. So it's really sucking the energy out of you to hyperfixate on doing the business to get that high. You're spending more and more energy to court women or to be appealing to men. You spend and spend and spend energy on something that leads to nothing. It leads to, this temporary high that you have, but each time it becomes less and less unless you have or get more and more of it. Now, the purpose of the video isn't to bash on anyone who goes to concerts or, they think they have artists who they really like or music that they really like, because the truth is that not everyone simply gets brainwashed. But the purpose is we must be humble and reflect on things like, okay, am I letting certain messaging control my actions and how I lead myself on a day-to-day basis in the long term? Is it directing my goal? What am I feeding my energy into? Because we're not zombie. You got to realize that you're not a zombie. You're not on a fixed track like the zombie that it has to go towards the house. You don't have to, okay? You got to be conscious of everything you're doing and why you're doing it, to be prepared for either to accept the consequences or to know when you're in the wrong, when you're wasting time. Because music it's a beautiful outlet. It's good for coping. Everyone needs some type of coping, some type of de-stressor. It could be a concert, it could be music. Simply just act now. Don't be like the zombie that's just on the track and thinks it's moving forward while at the same time it's just killing itself, right? Yes, you gotta spend energy in life, and to an extent you have to spiritually, mentally, whatever you want to call it, you have to die to yourself, you have to kill your ego. But the point is to be conscious, sit down and think, but don't get stuck in the thinking. Once you've had a couple thoughts, a handful of thoughts, act now. final tidbit. What was the purpose of the A/B testing? Another powerful messaging is A/B testing. The A/B testing that I did is to instill like discord and separate people, right? Because if you're the house owner, would it be better if all the zombies came through one lane or they separated them into different lanes, right? That's industry plants versus zombie for you.